fall, or should we say fall spring, fake spring. I like fall. Fall to me is like a new spring, and the trees, they're all blooming like if it was spring. Hibiscus, I get my yellow elder blooms, mangoes, they're just sending out new flush. Stone fruit, they're sending out blooms. So fall to me is like fake spring, you know? Everything is just kind of doing its thing. You wouldn't think that it's fall, at least not here in Florida. Everything looks so beautiful. Soon these tangerines will start getting a little cutter. Some of them are already starting to turn yellow. Peaches, they're blooming. Now we usually don't get any fruit set, but check that out. Some peaches, which is kind of the first time I actually had any fruit set in fall. Rosells. These plants are so productive. Roselle, hibiscus. I mean, if you can, you should grow them. They make a wonderful tea. You can make Roselle jelly, I think. There's a lot of uses to the Roselle. Mangoes, they're all looking pretty. They're all getting ready for that spring bloom. Tangerines. So everything's looking beautiful. This is the avocado that I just put in the ground. It's gonna winter in the ground, but it should be okay. Avocados are actually pretty hardy. Pretty hardy when you look at them compared to mangoes. This one I just transplanted, so it's got a little bit of brown, but it's in a better spot. The bromeliads, they're all blooming. Seems like it's amazing. They all seem to just bloom at the same time. It's like they're all communicating with each other, but they're not. They're not. And see what else we got. Gotta check my sugar apples on well, these are Adamoyas actually, but I gotta give them the little test because they will drop off from one day to another, and you'll find them on the ground if you do not check them. So you do gotta check them. This here's Geffner Adamoya. I think there's about six fruit left on there. Here's another one. This is the Murray Adamoya, waiting on that one. This is a red moth, my last red moth. And those sugar apple, they usually develop in fall. Isn't that weird? But this is the time that they develop. Collecting my wood. I'm gonna run them through the chipper, make some mulch. I'm trying to get this mango seedling to push. And I see the little buds coming. Hopefully I can get another push. That's the only seedling that I have in the ground actually. I've tried to graft onto it before and it hasn't taken, but I just leave it in the ground. Maybe it should fruit for me, who knows. Another avocado that I have, Oro Negro. This will be the first winter that it'll be in the ground. So, stone fruits. It's my whole little stone fruit corner over here. Got some nectarines, some plums. We'll see what happens with that. Barbados cherry. There's a fruit forming. Hasn't been too productive, but You know, as they get older, they become a little more productive. And they kind of like rain. So after it rains, they'll start getting the blooms popping up. Pineapple mango. Gave me a little flush. Didn't give me quite a big flush as I was hoping, but hey, gotta take what you can. So she didn't grow too much more this year. That one is not one of my fastest growing mangoes. Pineapple pleasure. More tangerines. Roselle. Roselle hibiscus. You ain't growing it. You need to grow it. This is my star fruit. She's flowering. Starting to hold some fruit. There's a little fruit there. My ginger, Thai ginger. Probably be harvesting that soon, I think. It's actually my first year growing Thai ginger. So I have to see when I have to harvest that. More mangoes. This was a graft that I did here. Yeah, you're probably saying, oh, that's a sloppy graft. Yeah, I left the little tips exposed, so that's why it looks like that. But that's nothing. As long as that has cured, this is the most important part. You just need this to callus this. I can tip that off later, or it'll just come off later. But it's good. It made it, and it's holding on well. Here's another one. This one's a little cleaner. Pineapple pleasure. I just put a honey kiss on here. Hopefully the honey kiss will take. It's a honey kiss right there. Sapodilla. There's a few grafts that I put on my sapodilla. I think I saw one of them actually take. Here you go. There's a graft that took. It's flushing. You can see it right there. And this sapodilla is supposed to be a hasha. It's actually been in the ground maybe 5, let's see, 18. I think I got it back in 2018. Yeah, so this would be about 5 years. I have not gotten any fruit. So I think that it's no longer a grafted tree, and it probably it's rootstock. So when I bought it, it was just after a big freeze that we had, and it had grew back. So apparently the rootstock grew back and not the grafted portion. So we'll have to wait. Hopefully it should be flowering soon. I believe it's about 6 years on sapodilla for them to start flowering. So should be seeing something soon. And those signs that I put are actually from a grafted tree. So hopefully I'll get something off of those, if anything. My little citrus, my lemon tree, lime tree. I think it's a lime tree. Give me a little bit of flush. Citrus minor likes this tree. So you can see all the little damage. And it's pretty much cosmetic. It won't kill a tree. On a smaller tree, it might be a little bit more damaging because it does reduce the the process of making energy for the tree. So yeah, too many damaged leaves can make it a little harder for it to synthesize its energy or process its energy. So yeah, on a smaller tree, it's a good idea to spray. I actually did a little spraying on this one. That's why they're still in a pretty good condition. But yeah, you spray with I forgot what the spray is, but it's one of those organic sprays, natural sprays. I don't like to use any harsh sprays, only because you get these guys, little ladybugs. So Those little colorful green shiny flies, they're also predatory flies. They're long-legged flies is what they're called. And if you see those on your trees, it disappeared, so I can't show it to you. But they're little shiny flies. Sometimes they're green, sometimes they're blue. Those are actually beneficial. They will kill aphids. They will eat little bugs. So if you see those on your trees, don't worry about them. All right, so everything looks good. Fall spring. Fall is fall spring. Fake spring. F-A-U-X spring. All right, guys, so hope you guys enjoyed this short little video as I show you a little bit of the yard and how things are looking. These will be starting to yellow up soon. These are usually December, January when I pick these. These are pomelos or pomelo hybrid. Yeah, I didn't plant it. She was here when I got here, so. But yeah, they don't get super giant size, but they do stay the size of like a grapefruit. So it might get a little bigger than this. But that's pretty much the size. And it's a white flesh. I usually juice those. They're not sweet. It's like a white grapefruit, so might be a hybrid, white grapefruit hybrid. I have another one here, which is also another hybrid, and this one actually has a thinner skin, more like an orange, but it's white flesh as well, and it's a little sweeter than the other one. I prefer these more than the other ones, just because they're a little sweeter. Look at the thorns on this thing. This thing has some major thorns, man. This is my peach tree, which actually, shoot, I was going to trim it back. I did a little trim a few months ago and she regrew, so this is actually a good time to trim it down and get her down to probably about 6-7 feet. I have to look. I have to take off these younger branches. See, these younger branches will not flower for you next year. But these branches, the older branches that have the little buds on it, you'll see these older branches with buds. That's gonna be your fruiting branches for next spring. So branches like this that have the little buds, I'll probably leave those on, and I'll take the young vigorous growth, the young growth that doesn't have any of those little buds, take that off. See, this is all newer growth. There's no buds on that. You can remove this. You can remove all of that because it's not going to flower for you next year. So if you want to just cut down for size, then yeah, just take all that green tip off. I'll be cutting it, probably then bringing it down here, and I'll try to leave as much of this older wood on there, but that's what's going to fruit for me, and that'll control the size. See, there's a lot of green. This is all new stuff up there. Anyway, that's my peach tree, and she's been hacked down many a times. I have issues with the fruit flies with this one, so I'm still deciding whether to remove it or not, because the battle against the fruit flies is tough. Very tough. Yeah, I'm thinking that I'm gonna get a bloom off of this banana. These are dwarf bananas, and there's a gray water that it just likes that little area. So you can see they are happy because that's where the gray water is being deposited. All right, so over here it's a little messy. don't have too much going on over here. My moringa. More moringas. This moringa, which is all seeded, I have to cut this moringa down as well. Alright guys, so that was just a short little tour of how everything's looking. Blue skies, nice. I think we're in the 80s today, which is beautiful weather. That's my Royal Poinciana. You know, when I started these back in, I would say it would be about 2015, I think is when I started this tree from seed. Kept it in a pot for about a year, and then when I finally put it in the ground, it was probably 2016 probably. And here she is, Royal Poinciana. At that time, nobody was growing them over here in Orlando. I couldn't see not even one Royal Poinciana in Orlando. And over the years, I've been posting my tree. This is the second tree. I actually had one in the front, which was a gorgeous tree which used to bloom. This one back here doesn't get as many nutrients because that one in the front was leaching off the septic tank a little bit. This one back here struggles a little more, and I keep it trimmed a lot more. So I cut a lot of the branches, and so it's constantly growing back, so it doesn't have the energy for flowering. But one thing about these trees, they have brittle wood, which when the hurricanes come through, causes a lot of the branches to fall down, and you get a mess. They'll fall down on everything down here, which is dangerous. The one in the front of my house, a whole big trunk. It was 4 trunks, kind of like this one. This one has 4 trunks, I believe. And that happened back in 2018 when it did get killed back when it was a younger tree. But it grew back, and it grew back with multiple trunks, as did the one in the front of my house. And a big trunk fell down during the last hurricane that came through here a few years ago. I forgot which one it was, but big trunk fell down, and luckily it was the one June plum. Luckily it was the one facing the street, because I had one facing the house, one facing the driveway, my cars. And after that big trunk came down and a few other big branches came down, I decided just to play it safe and remove it. So unfortunately I had to remove that tree. And she was a beautiful tree, beautiful, always in blooms, gorgeous tree. But anyway, like I was saying, back when I planted it, nobody even dared to plant that tree, because it's supposed to be a cold sensitive tree. It is a little cold sensitive, but not as sensitive once it's established. You know, once you have a bigger tree, once you have a bigger tree, it's like, you know, it can handle the cold. It does lose its leaves. They do lose the leaves. They'll become bare the winter time. It does shed all the leaves, but it doesn't die back. Not when it's a big tree like this. So as I drive around, I'm like spotting so many people with trees growing, Royal Poincianas, and I'm amazed how many people are actually growing the tree nowadays, especially here in Orlando. It's a tree that you see down south in Miami, where it grows like a weed, but here, I mean, you get it, you have to get it through its first years, 3-4 years at least. You know, once it gets some size, then it's really not a worry. But anyway, I've seen people planting these things in their yards and by the houses, and I'm saying, man, they don't know how big that tree is gonna grow. The Royal Poinciana is a massive tree. It spreads And you know, I'm always cutting this tree back so that all these trees here don't get blocked out by the shade. These branches, they just keep going out and out and out. If I don't cut them, then the sun, you know, the sun, I have the sun right now right above that tree. Actually, it will just shade all these other trees out. So, and if you notice, this whole little interior area is shaded. It's my shaded spot. And you know, I do enjoy the shade, but you know, it does affect the growth on trees. This is my hybrid red. There's a fruit right there. Actually has some more flowers and fruit forming. Red jaboticaba. Anyway, so let me stop walking around, guys, and rambling. This is my Fairchild mango. My dragon fruit's up there, up on the vine. I actually have one dragon fruit left. You guys can see it, it's right there. I'm waiting for it to get red so that I can pick it off. More hibiscus. I got about 5 hibiscus plants. So I'm gonna have a good supply of no, actually I have 6 plants. Here's another one. I'm gonna have a good supply of hibiscus this year. I'll dry them up, dehydrate them, and I'll have a good supply for tea. Some people actually make a jelly out of these too, hibiscus jelly. Maybe I might look into that, see if I can make it. All right, guys, so there you go. This is Banana Alley right over here. This is my south side of the house. Hope you guys enjoyed the little tour, rambling tour. It's my tamarind rambling tour that I gave you guys. Take it easy now. You guys have yourself a good day. I'm gonna take a seat here and enjoy some of this weather. Got a little poop from that tour. Whew. Man. All right, guys. Have a good one. Bye.